Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shadow at Night. This is Wednesday, September the 11th, 2024, the 23rd anniversary of 9/11. So I hope we've all taken a moment to remember what happened there, whatever it was, 23 years ago, as we move on to our current situation. Obviously, things have not improved much since then, unless you enjoy your own safety, because that's what the government seems to want to do for us, is make us safe. We, as a government, most of the governments have said, it's our job to keep Canadians safe. And I don't recall ever seeing that anywhere. We're here to keep you safe. No, you are here to build roads and bridges and infrastructure and spend our money wisely. Get the best bang for the buck. Not about keeping us safe. Safe from what exactly? That's the other thing. Our democracy. We need to protect our democracy. From who? From us or from you? That's the question as we keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. We're going to cover some Canadian stuff tonight right off the top, and then we're going to go and review what happened in that U.S. presidential debate last night between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And I know we were watching snippets of it live here on the show last night, so we didn't get the full context. I went back and watched the entire thing last night, as cringeworthy as it was, and came away with some conclusions of my own. And I saw all I'm sure you guys have seen this too, all kinds of crazy stuff all over social media today. So we're going to try and break some of that down, including, were there police reports of cats, family pets, cats, dogs, ducks taken from ponds, being eaten by Haitian illegal immigrants in Springfield, Ohio? We've got video. Were Kamala's earrings actually earpieces, headphones, so she could be coached during the debate last night by whoever backstage, one of her team, I'm assuming? And has she worn these before? When you listen to this woman talk unscripted, it's a gong show. We've all seen those clips. And they're not just 20 seconds long either. When you see her on a show like The View or whatever, she goes into these weird diatribes and starts to. Last night she stayed on point, except for the facial expressions I thought were incredibly condescending, awful, ugly. That's the same thing Hillary Clinton used, remember? I said that last night on the show. But she seemed strangely eloquent last night. And there's got to be a reason for that, because she's not eloquent whatsoever. So we're going to get into this. Were those earrings actually headphones? The internet claims, well, it's been debunked. We're gonna look into that a little bit further on in the show tonight, which is brought to you by Canada Nano Silver, CanadaNanoSilver.ca. The toothpaste comes in multiple flavors. You've got the cinnamon, you've got the spearmint, you've got the bubbleberry for the kids. It's naturally whitening. It helps keep your teeth clean with triple action nano silver. We're talking about the power of Silverceutical Technologies, my friends. Silverceuticals is made from only the highest quality ingredients. This unique toothpaste is kid safe, not just kid safe, it's kid awesome, and uses powerful natural ingredients. Triple action nano silver helps clean your teeth, promotes healthy teeth and gums. Then the above ground Mind Coral Calcium helps to scrub and remineralize your teeth. I know it sounds amazing, but you can check out all of the science behind it on the website right here at CanadaNanoSilver.com. But if you go to CanadaNanoSilver.ca, the old website address, it will redirect you right here to this website, CanadaNanoSilver.com. If you would like to become a retailer of these awesome products, get a hold of Kevin and Anna through the contact tab at CanadaNanoSilver.ca or CanadaNanoSilver.com. You see, Kev, I told you what was going to happen. And if you would like to buy these products retail and not through the internet, you can do that. There's still a lot of people that don't like to put their credit cards online, and I guess that's understandable, even though the government's probably already got all of your information anyway. You can find a retail location near you by clicking the Retail Locations tab. There are over 30 all across Canada and growing. CanadaNanoSilver.com. All right, guys, I just want to let you know that buying a subscription to the Shadow Davis show, shadowdavis.com, well, the website may not work 100% completely all the time, and I am working on this behind the scenes, and it's not as easy a fix as people might think. But anyway, it really helps this show to continue. It really helps me to keep this show on the air. So if, you know, and maybe you think, hey, I'm getting asked for money all the time from all you guys. That's fine. That's fine. If you can't do it, you're not in the position to do it. If ideologically you don't want to do it, you think you don't have to, you think you deserve this kind of content for free, that's absolutely fine. I totally understand that. But if you want to help this show continue to stay on the air every weeknight at 8 o'clock, and by the way, this week, we have gone back to our regular format of Monday to Friday at 8 o'clock Central. Go ahead and become an all-access member at shadowdavis.com. The name is spelled just like it says right down here, SHADOEDAVIS.com. It really, really helps. Plus, you get extra content. I've noticed that the first two shows of this week have each been 2 hours long. Granted, last night's show was a little longer on social media, but there was still an extra 40 minutes of content on the All Access section last night and an extra hour of content behind the scenes during the extension on Monday night. Every single night, there is extra content for the All Access members at shadowdavis.com. If you're not going to do that, the next best thing you can do is sharing this show on social media. Do it right now. If you're watching on Facebook, like Leonard from Altona, then please like and share this. Get this out to as many people as you possibly can. If you're watching on X, like Sherry is, who is watching in Winnipeg, go ahead and reshare. And make sure you at least heart this video. YouTube as well. Go ahead and smash that like button. Get it out there to as many people as we possibly can. If you're watching on Rumble tonight, like Vilma and Patricia and Esky Dogs and Nana Sue and the Mouth of the South, you guys got to hit the share button beneath the screen. That'll highlight the URL above the screen. From there, you can copy and paste into your favorite locations. You can send it in an email. You can post it in a group. Get this out to as many people as we possibly can. That really helps the show connect with more people, and it helps the show stay on the air. I cannot do this show if there is no monetary support. That means I'm going to have to go back into the left-wing corporate media, or maybe become a garbage man or a grave digger or something like that. But I'd rather not do that. I'd rather stay on the air with this show. So if you guys can help, that's awesome. Become a member and get the word out. Get as many eyeballs on this show as you possibly can. Thank you very much in advance. Pierre Poilievre gave a press conference today, and in it, he challenged Jagmeet Singh, because Pierre says he's going to call a motion of non-confidence in the House of Commons as soon as possible, probably next Wednesday, because the House resumes sitting Monday. Wednesday is opposition day, and that's the day that the opposition can bring motions onto the government. So probably Wednesday, maybe the following Wednesday, but he's going to do it as soon as he possibly can. He challenged Jagmeet Singh today, and here's what he had to say.
Now, Jagmeet Singh, who supported all these policies, in fact pushed for them to happen, says that Justin Trudeau is radioactive. And right before the by-elections, Singh suddenly had a change of heart, or so he said, publishing a video claiming that he was no longer in the Costly Coalition. Well, let's look at the wording. The Costly Coalition is called a Supply and Confidence Agreement. So if you're pulling out, you have to vote non-confidence. If you don't, you're still in the agreement, no matter what your video stunt would have everyone else believe. So the question that Jagmeet Singh has been asked 31 times in the last week, and he has refused to answer, is whether he will vote non-confidence to trigger a carbon tax election. Now, why is that? Well, let's just inspect the timing here for a second. He did his video 2 days before voting started in those by-elections, trying to trick people into thinking he was no longer part of the coalition. The by-elections will be held on Monday, after which he can just change his mind and go back to voting to keep Trudeau in power. So I have an announcement and a challenge. I'm announcing that Common Sense Conservatives will put forward a non-confidence motion at the earliest possible opportunity. And I'm asking Jagmeet Singh and the NDP to commit unequivocally before Monday's by-elections. Will they vote non-confidence to bring down the Costly Coalition and trigger a carbon tax election? Or will Jagmeet Singh sell out Canadians again. Which will it be? It's put up or shut up time.
Okay, so have you, Jagmeet had a response for Poilievre in a press conference of his own earlier today. But let me just stop for a second and ask you guys, when is the last time you have ever heard a Canadian politician speak like that? I mean, there's a lot of people that call him rude, a lot of people that call him Trump light, all of that stuff. But to me, he just makes sense. He comes out and he makes challenges. He calls out BS when he sees it. I'm not saying he's all that. I am not saying he is the answer to everybody. You see, so many people conflate and misconstrue when I say this. So let me be absolutely clear, like I am every single night. Pierre Poilievre is not going to lead us to the promised land, but he's a hell of a lot better than what we've got right now and what could be going forward. Mark Carney, one of the biggest globalists, one of the biggest World Economic Forum globalists in the world, is now in the Liberal Party of Canada's camp. I'm not sure who he's being paid by. Pierre Poilievre seems to feel as though Mark Carney is kind of the Minister of Finance by proxy, that he is going to be calling the shots behind the scenes and Chrystia Freeland's just going to do what he says. And as an unelected person, not even working for the government, we don't know who's paying him at this point. Is it the Liberal Party or is it the government of Canada? We don't know. But as an unelected employee of either entity, he's accountable to nobody for the decisions he makes. Who knows what's going on there? The Liberal Party is falling to pieces. And it's time these other parties recognize that and save themselves, especially the NDP. If the NDP votes with the Liberal Party during that earliest convenience, that Pierre Poilievre decides he wants to move a motion of non-confidence, then Jagmeet Singh looks like a fool. He looks like a bigger hypocrite than he already looks. Here he is today answering Poilievre's challenge.
What's your response to what he said today, specifically that the NDP should put up or shut up?
I say directly to Pierre Poilievre, I'm not going to listen to you, someone who wants to destroy our healthcare system, who wants to hurt seniors by cutting.
Okay, hold on just a second. It was 6 days after Poilievre issued the challenge 2 weeks ago for Jagmeet to pull out of this costly coalition, that Jagmeet pulled out, on paper anyway, of this costly coalition. And now Poilievre is making another challenge and Jagmeet saying, I will not listen to you. You did last time, Jag. Are you going to this time?
Their pensions, someone who wants to attack workers, someone who wants to strip away dental care from seniors. What kind of person wants to strip away dental care when seniors have just gotten it, when kids are receiving it? Who wants to take that away from them? I'm never going to listen to someone like that. So no, I'm not going to listen to your advice. You want to destroy people's lives. I want to build up a brighter future. I want to build a better future for Canadians.
So let's keep Justin Trudeau in power so we can build. Oh, I know. You guys, the second this image popped up on your screen, you went, oh no, he's going to play a Trudeau video. And I am. But it's funny. I might not play the whole thing. We could do the old game where we go ahead and measure, right? Like how long can Shadow take it? This video is 3 minutes and 40 seconds long. And Trudeau apparently goes on this long rant, as you can see in the descriptor, about how Pierre Poilievre doesn't believe in Canadians when asked about how he plans to win the next election. So you can watch my face get redder and redder. And before I actually go apoplectic, completely and totally on your screen, I'll shut it off. I can only take so much, just like you. But we do need to hear what he has to say.
You were asked at the beginning about Alexandra Mendez's comments, and you sort of responded with...
Remembering, I told you last night, Alexandra Mendez is the Quebec Liberal MP, who yesterday or 2 days ago at this Liberal retreat in Nanaimo said that my constituents are saying that they're sick of Trudeau. We're talking about dozens and dozens here. Hey, that's not my feeling, she said, but that's what my constituents are saying. Anyhow.
Some of the things we've heard from you, things like slogans like confident Canadians invest themselves. I'm not sure people really understand what that means. How do you convince people in sort of everyday language that you can actually win this election, given what people are hearing at the door, given what people are hearing from constituents, given what the polling shows? How do you actually keep them on board?
Well, thank you, Marika, for asking me what it means to say that confident countries invest in themselves.
Do you also notice, I'm going to stop it for just a second here. Do you notice that Poilievre is doing a press conference before the Marxist corporate media? He doesn't know their names. He has to actually ask them what agency they represent. You're from where? You're from the Canadian Press? Oh, I see. I get it. Or you're from the CBC? Trudeau and the rest of his ministers are calling them by their first names.
Because that's the choice that we have made, and we've made it consistently since 2015, and it's more important now than it's ever been. Canada has one of the strongest balance sheets in the world, the lowest deficit, the lowest debt to GDP ratio amongst G7 nations, the highest per capita foreign investment in the G20.
Why don't these reporters call him out, fact check him as he lies through his teeth? He's standing there right in front of them, lying. If they were any kind of reporters, they would interrupt him and say, I'm sorry, Mr. Trudeau, everything you're saying is just not true. But they don't. They never do.
Companies around the world are investing their futures in Canada. We were the third largest country in the world for foreign direct investment just last year after the US and Brazil. People around the world are investing in Canada because they believe in Canadians, they believe in Canadian workers, they believe in the future we're building here. This government is doing the same thing. We are investing in the future of Canada by making sure kids have room in daycare so that their parents can get the jobs and careers that they want and that our economy needs them to do. We're investing in the kinds of resource economy that leads into the knowledge economy, whether it's leading the world on electric vehicle supply chains or drawing in global investment in strong jobs of the future. We are stepping up and investing in our future. We believe in Canadians. The world believes in Canadians. You know who doesn't believe in Canadians? Pierre Poilievre. Because his answer to what do you do with the strongest economy in the strongest fiscal balance sheet in the world right now is you cut. You cut programs that Canadians need. You cut the school food programs. It's going to save families.
I can't. How long did I make it? 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Maybe if I take a breath. Just take a breath, reset. I can get through that last minute and 20 seconds. Okay.
$800 on grocery bills. You cut the spots in childcare that are allowing women to get back into the workforce and build those careers they need. You cut the programs that are delivering for Canadians right when they need it. We have the strongest macro balance sheet in the G7. We believe in putting that in service of Canadians by investing in them. And the answer the Conservatives are bringing forward is, oh no, we'll create growth and opportunities through cutting programs Canadians are relying on. That's the choice that people get to make in these upcoming by-elections. That's the choice people are going to make next year. And I can't wait to continue getting into it this fall with Pierre Poilievre, whose perspective is cuts are the only way forward, because I know that confident countries invest in their future.
I'm sorry. I just can't do the last bit. I cannot do the last 15 seconds. Before we get into an election, whether or not we have one this fall, and apparently half of Canadians want one, no matter what political stripe they support. According to that Leger poll that I put on last night, half of Canadians, fully 50%, want to see an election this year. And then there's like 20%, 25% who want to see it when it's scheduled on the fixed election date, sometime next October. before we get into an election, we have to have this addressed. We need the names of the 11 members of parliament who have been influenced by other countries, whether it's China, Iran, North Korea, or Russia. And so far, there's nothing on that. Nothing. The last news story, and I went and checked this on every browser I could find today, everyone I could think of. Okay, Chinese interference, Canada, 11 MPs. That's what you're looking for during your search. And the last story I could find, seriously, unless it was just an editorial from some wingnut working for the Toronto Star, the Globe and Mail, whatever, is this story right here. It comes from the CBC. Government won't commit to releasing names of MPs who allegedly conspired with foreign actors. Instead, they say they're going to do an internal follow-up on meddling claims. You cannot find any story that tells us that the Liberals have, in fact, done this internal follow-up on meddling claims. We cannot have an election until we know the names of these 11 traitors who currently sit, never mind the bureaucrats, they can be fired. And there's provincial politicians and civic politicians across the country as well who have been influenced by China or Iran or whatever. But importantly, we cannot have a federal election until we know the names of these 11 MPs who have been bought and paid for by China, Iran, or whoever, Russia, North Korea. Can't. You're asking us to vote for a traitor. Seriously. So I certainly hope that comes up sometime very soon during the next session of the House of Commons, which again starts on Monday. Mark Carney. I just mentioned that Mark has joined the Liberal Party as their chief financial advisor. This is Pierre Poilievre, before he became the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, jousting with Mark Carney during committee. And back then, of course, it was COVID-19, so everybody was doing it via Zoom. He's asking Mark Carney about Trudeau buying and then just getting rid of a pipeline. And why should Carney be investing in pipelines in other countries when he won't support Canada investing in pipelines in their own country? So here is that duel.
Do you support the Prime Minister's decision to veto the Northern Gateway pipeline, Mr. Carney?
I understand the veto of the Northern Gateway pipeline.
You support it?
Given both environmental and commercial reasons.
Do you support it?
I think it is sensible. I wasn't involved in the decision, but I think it was the right decision.
And yet your company has invested billions of dollars in oil companies in both Brazil and the UAE to buy pipelines. You bought billions of dollars of pipelines as a company in the last 5 years. Do you support those investments?
Mr. Poilievre, there is a global energy system, and one of the issues, I'm trying to explain a bit of how the economy works. One of the
Thank
issues,
you so much.
It may help. One of the issues for this committee in thinking about a sustainable transition.
Do you support it?
Where is Canada's role in those as energy transitions from fossil fuels to renewables? And in different jurisdictions, into different geography, it matters. It matters, and this is a fundamental point.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. This is a fundamental. You're finally getting to a point.
You've exceeded
that
the
is
time.
relevant to this committee's inquiry.
What you're saying is you oppose pipelines in Canada, but you support them in the UAE and in Brazil. That's what you've actually said.
There are specific.
That's your double
pipelines.
standard.
It is not a double standard.
It is a double standard.
No, it's not.
You make billions of dollars off foreign pipelines, and you shut them down here at home, putting our people out of work.
That you are a representative of the Canadian people, and one of your responsibilities, including at this committee,
is to fight for Canadian jobs, and not foreign jobs like you.
Exactly, to fight for Canadian jobs, and the types of Canadian jobs that are durable and are going to move forward.
Right.
I grew up in Alberta. I know the innovative nature of that.
Well, go try to give that answer back in Alberta, because I grew up there too, and I can tell you the people. I can tell you the people of Alberta would be ashamed with the answer you just gave. That you would give billions of dollars to foreign pipelines while not allowing Canadians to build pipelines here at home. That is the kind of elite Davos hypocrisy.
Could I please,
Madam Chair, this is really unbecoming of a member to badger any.
Okay, and that's when the Liberals start going, point of order. But you hear what Poilievre said there. That is the kind of elitist World Economic Forum globalist attitude that's gotten Canada into the situation that it's in currently. So let me ask you again. Is Poilievre a great actor? Or is he completely against Marxism? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Remember, guys, and I don't want to make it seem as though I'm giving a lecture here, because I'm not. But I think a great many of us over the course of the last 4.5 years have become awakened to certain things that we didn't realize before. And that, okay, sure, that's fine. But some of us have gotten to the point where we're seeing a conspiracy behind every leaf of every bush. And we need to be able to invoke our discernment at certain points. And the way you're going to be able to tell is from the fruit that that person bears. And so far, and Poilievre, I understand he's a career politician. He's been there since, what, 2007, 2008. And I understand he worked under, as a junior minister, Stephen Harper. And some of you understand what Stephen Harper did when it comes to globalism. Although, in my opinion, Stephen Harper didn't take that seriously back then. I don't think anybody took the globalist movement seriously back then. None of us even knew about it, really. I mean, if you look at it, aside from a few people who say, I've been following this since 9/11, right? And that's great. Good for you guys. I'm happy that you have. But most of us are brand new. And when I say brand new, I mean within the last 4.5 years to all of this stuff. And so we're all learning this stuff. And a lot of people in government, I mean, I've experienced this myself in the past few years. They have no freaking clue what's going on. Not even as an MP or an MLA or an MPP or a councillor or a mayor. They don't know. And their first reaction when they do hear it, conspiracy theory, like many of those people who are still out there not believing what's actually going on around them. So let's not be so quick to make judgments on people. And again, I am not sitting here telling you that Pierre Poilievre is going to be the answer to all of our problems, but it's a step in the right direction. That's my opinion. And it gives us time we need to come up with a better plan moving forward. In the meantime, when Poilievre and the Conservatives do get elected in Canada, unless there's some kind of a major catastrophe where we don't have an election, and yeah, I can believe that may happen because we've seen a lot of crazy stuff, we got to stay on top of them to make sure that they follow through on the things they said they were going to do. And then we have to push them even further to move us away from certain things that we know are destructive to our country. Now, after what happened in the debate last night in the United States, I'm not near as confident as I was at this point last night that Donald Trump is going to win that election. Which is alarming, because if Kamala Harris wins this election, we're in trouble, man. She's a globalist. She's a Marxist. She is exactly what the World Economic Forum and the New World Order wants in a U.S. president, in my opinion. You know who Michael Francis is? Michael Francis is a former capo in the Colombo crime family. And he goes on and he talks about life in the mob on all of the different social media platforms. He's been doing this for the past few years. Obviously, he is from New York City. And you'd think anybody from New York City is going to be a Democrat, because New York is a Democrat state. New York City is definitely a Democrat city. But Michael Francis actually went outside of his realm of expertise last night and just gave his opinion on the debate. And I found it very thought-provoking, very interesting, the things he said. So let's hear what he has to say regarding the debate last night.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Francis. Hope everybody is doing well. All is very good, very blessed on this end. And as always, my friends, I give all the praise, honor, glory, and thanksgiving to our God for that. Well, I told you I would give my reaction to the debate, and true to my word, I'll be doing that now. And if you ask me to describe my feelings or my reaction to the debate in one word, it would without a doubt be frustrating. It was very frustrating to sit through 90 minutes of what many of us witnessed last night. And, I want to give you as fair and unbiased a reaction as I possibly can. And I hope you understand that. For those of you out there that, want to label me a Trump lover, it's really demeaning to say. It's demeaning for yourself to say that. It really is. I'm not a Trump lover. I love my wife and my children, and I love my God, and I love a lot of people around me. I have respect for Trump, but to call me a Trump lover like that is just silly. What I am is a lover of my country. What I am is a lover, like I said, of the future of my children and grandchildren. So when I talk about anybody in politics that has an impact on my country and my family, I look at it in that sense, and that's how I evaluate it. That's what I'm concerned about. It's nothing else. Neither president is going to be putting money in my pocket. Neither president is going to be giving me a job. Neither president is going to be doing any of that. I vote for the person that I think is going to do the best job for the country, and that's it. So I'm going to give you as, again, fair and unbiased an opinion of what I saw last night as I possibly could. And I'll go down the line with it. And we're going to talk about the debate itself and who I think might have come out on top, if anyone. And then we're going to talk about just the two candidates, period. So let me tell you this. Let me start with Donald Trump, and let me give you my evaluation of him last night. I will say this. I don't think he's a great debater. Not at all. I don't think Donald Trump was well prepared in a sense of him sitting down with his advisors and preparing for this event. I don't believe he was. I don't think he does that. I think Donald Trump believes he's in command of the information, and he knows what he wants to say, and he just says it. I don't think he's good in articulating his message in a debate. In other ways, I think he is. I've seen him in rallies, and I've seen him speak out when he's just speaking to the crowd, and I think he articulates fairly well there. He does get off on tangents at times, but I don't think he's particularly good in a debate. And I really mean that. Some of you may say, come on, Michael, what do you mean? Well, I'm being honest. I think he could have done a much better job than what he did last night. Now, having said that for a moment, it doesn't mean that I disagree with Donald Trump and his policies and the point that he's been trying to get across for the past several months on the campaign. My impression of Donald Trump is also this. I think he's weary in a way. You got to understand, I kind of seen it in his face last night. I think he was frustrated too. And why am I saying this? I'm only going to repeat the obvious, and I'm only going to repeat what's true. This man has been attacked on a daily basis like I've seen no other person attacked in the history, at least in my 73 years history of politics. Haven't seen it. I mean, come on. All the impeachments, all the Russia, all the nasty words that were lodged against him, all the attacks, all the indictments after on. It's endless. It just goes on and on and on and on. The guy is always on the defense. And I think it's worn him down a little bit. And I'm not saying his energy level is not there. Come on. Look at the schedule the guy keeps. A lot of people around him say, he's like a robotic. I mean, he can keep up his schedule. But there are times when you see it's like it's weary, being attacked all the time. And look, I will say this, and you Trump haters are never going to jump on my side. You're never going to just be, unbiased and try to look at it the way it is. But the truth of the matter is the guy has been really unfairly attacked in many, many ways. A lot of the words that he says are taken out of context. A lot of things that he says, he's constantly on the defensive. They're always attacking him. So I think it showed a little bit, at least to me last night, that he might have been so frustrated, with Kamala Harris and with some of the things that she was saying. And it got to him a little bit. I think it got under his skin a little bit. And, that's not good in a debate. Let me jump to Kamala Harris for a moment. I'm going to go back to something that's just very obvious to me. And I don't know if it's obvious to all of you, but it's obvious to me. Bill Parcells, I'm going to say this again. I've said it a few times over the past couple of weeks. Bill Parcells, legendary, NFL Giants coach, when he was being questioned by the media, they asked him, how good is your team and this and that, and they were going, and he turned around, he said, very simple, we are what our record says we are. That's it. That's the team we are. Our record shows it. That's it. And I have to say that about these two candidates. Now, I have to say this. Kamala Harris has not sat down and done a legitimate press conference. She did that one, okay, with Walsh by her side, but it was edited and it was posted later on. It wasn't a legitimate press conference. We have to say that. She hasn't done a legitimate press conference. She hasn't answered questions from the press. ABC had a chance last night to finally say, you know what? I have an obligation to the American people. I have a chance to really get her views on things because she hasn't really spoken about it and really put her on a spot. They didn't. They didn't fact check her. They fact checked Donald Trump. They went after him, once or twice. Look at the debate. I'm not making this up. Look at the debate. I'm being unbiased. I'm telling you the way it was. Watch the debate. You can see it everywhere again if you missed it.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. Last night we were watching it in snippets, in live snippets, and we didn't catch the whole flavor and flow of the debate. And we get so used to being suckered in by the Marxist corporate media. We get used to their conduct with people like Donald Trump and Pierre Poilievre, for that matter, always challenging, always accusing, under the veil of questions that come from a serious place of confirmation bias. Fact check, fact check, fact check, fact check, fact check. And the other one, whoever it happens to be, representing the Democratic Party, whether it's Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and now Kamala Harris, they always seem to walk away scot-free. My problem with Donald Trump last night is that he was unprepared. Did the Democrats cheat? Was ABC and their two moderators, were they all ganging up on Trump? Absolutely they were. But that's something that he should have expected. His team should have expected that, and they should have prepared him for it. And it didn't look like he was prepared. And honestly, like Michael Francis says there, Trump looked tired. He does keep this schedule. He's doing rallies 2 and 3 a day. In some cases, and they're probably going to ramp up even more as the election gets closer and closer. But he was completely unprepared. In this way, it's almost like a boxer, a champion boxer, Apollo Creed going against Rocky Balboa. Rocky's some bum off the street with a very low opinion of this guy. And you're going to go in there and kick his ass in the first round, and that's going to be it. I don't need to train for somebody like that. And I think that's what Trump did. Going into this debate, he did not prepare. And Harris was focused and prepared. Having said all of that, we'll get into that in just a second. The other thing Trump did that I thought was not smart last night was bringing up the dogs, ducks, cats thing in Ohio, when he could have brought up the gangs that are taking over apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado, and other places across the United States. They're just walking in, banging down doors, heavy weapons. These are all illegals, by the way. They're just taking over apartment buildings in Colorado. That would have been fine. But instead, he went with a very, very, very news story that the left-wing corporate media had already debunked, and they still continue to debunk today. And he made himself a victim of meme after meme after meme. And today on social media, I'm not sure if you looked, but it was a bloodbath, a complete bloodbath. Old, crazy, senile is what they were calling him. He set himself up for that. He did not have to bring that up. I get he's trying to make a point about how many millions and millions of illegal immigrants that the Harris-Biden regime has brought in over the past 3.5 years. I totally understand that, but he could have done it without using that. This is not to say it's not true. Just because some city officials from Springfield, Ohio are saying, we haven't had any police reports, and we're going to get to that. We are going to get to that. But look at what the Marxist corporate media is doing. Trump pushes false claim from ABC, Same network that put the debate on last night. We knew this was going to happen. Trump pushes false claim that Haitian migrants are stealing and eating pets. And we know that there's a lot of people out there who believe this nonsense. They still believe all the crap from January 6th. They still believe all the crap that, there are good people on both sides. All that stuff. Because they don't do any research. They just watch the left-wing corporate media. And Trump should have known all of this stuff. So whoever gave him the advice to go on and start talking about Haitian migrants, whether it's true or not, eating family pets and ducks out of ponds in Springfield, Ohio, that was a bad, bad move. Really bad. And this is the capitalization that we're seeing from the Marxist corporate media. And who knows if it's going to be enough to push Trump down in the polls and Harris up. Who knows? I think her conduct last night was awful with the condescending face that she was doing all night long. And people were feeling that, obviously, I hope. And I'm not talking about people like us. I'm not talking about the other side, if such a thing exists. I'm talking about those people in the middle who are still completely undecided and don't know which way to go. Many people vote on feelings, not on what's the right thing to do, not on logic, not on the economy, not on what's best for them. They vote on their feelings. Do I like this person or do I not? Or is this person crazy or is he or she not? During the presidential debate last night, Donald Trump doubled down on the false claim. This is what they're saying. I'm not sure how they can say it because that in and of itself is a lie. And I'll show you why in a couple of minutes, that migrants from Haiti are stealing and eating people's pets in Springfield, Ohio. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there, Trump said. All right. So let's go and listen to some of these videos from residents of that city in front of their own city council. This one we saw last night, this guy in the red sweatshirt and the Cincinnati Reds baseball hat. But let's listen to what this lady has to say.
I was out and about yesterday, driving around Springfield. I was looking at the giant holes in some of our buildings. I noticed all of the old familiar spots bearing new signs in an unfamiliar language. I watched as groups of strangers walked around the city like lost tourists, and it was like a punch in the gut. A terrible sadness came over me, and I began to cry. I immediately started to think back to when I was little, walking from my grandma's house on South Fountain through downtown and all the way to Snyder Park, going to Wren's to get new school clothes and shoes, the excitement of the mall for lunch at the Blue Fox, or even better to see Santa, riding down High Street, admiring the beauty of those stately homes and their amazing architecture, dropping pennies in the fountain and making wishes. And now all those warm memories are becoming fuel to the fire of anger inside of me. I feel like we have been invaded by some sort of pest. I'm angry that my friends and family are packing up and moving away. I'm angry that foreigners are using up the resources that were set up for the Americans that reside here. I'm angry that another country's flag was being flown in our city. I'm angry when I see our businesses and recreational areas littered with garbage left by people that do not know or understand our laws and culture and are making no attempt to learn about them. And let me be clear, this is not about race. This is about people being given the privilege of coming here from another country and having no respect for our people, our land, or our life's work. People living their life here the way they did in Haiti, angry, stealing, polluting, living in filth, and acting like animals. These are not civilized people. Opening containers in our grocery stores, helping themselves to what's inside and throwing the rest onto the shelves and floors. Pulling off of the highway to publicly clean and gut the roadkill lying there in front of anyone that passes by. Stealing animals from farmers and leaving their severed heads at the side of an old school where children play. Relieving themselves in public. Making some barbaric stew out of the birds that live in our park. This is insanity, and it has to stop. What will become of Springfield? Where will we be in 5 years? The thought terrifies me. Will it be some sort of dystopian wasteland with most of our original residents having moved away and those that cannot afford to move being locked inside their homes, living in fear? This thought is keeping me awake at night. I just want the old Springfield back. I know it was far from perfect, but at least it was still ours. Thank you.
Okay. So she doesn't claim to be an eyewitness, but clearly this is the rumor that's going through the streets of Springfield. And you know how that is. In whatever city you live in, there is a certain vibe that happens in a city. People talk. People talk. And that's usually how news spreads the fastest. Not left-wing corporate media, not internet. People to people, person to person, face to face, grocery stores, community centers, wherever they happen to be. People talk. They talk. Coffee shops. You heard about the ducks, man? They're stealing ducks from the ponds and they're eating them. They're cutting their heads off and leaving them right there in front of kids. Yeah, man, I saw it last night. That's how news spreads. Let's listen to this lady here.
And I'm done with what I'm seeing. It is so unsafe in my neighborhood anymore. I have the homeless that were trying to camp out, and I have made concessions with them, and I try to help them the best I can to keep them from trying to squat on my property. But it is so unsafe. I have men that cannot speak English in my front yard screaming at me, throwing mattresses in my front yard, throwing trash in my front yard. And I can't. Look at me, I weigh 95 pounds. I couldn't defend myself if I had to. My husband is elderly, and last night, after living in this home for 45 years, he said, Noelle, guess what? It's time to pack up and move. He said, we can't do this anymore. He said, it's killing both of us mentally. I don't understand what you expect of us as citizens. I mean, I understand they're here under temporary protected status, and you're protecting them, and I understand that our city services are overwhelmed and understaffed. But who's protecting us? If we're protecting them, who's protecting me? I want out of this town. I am sorry. Please give me a reason to stay.
Wow. All right, so here's a police report. Even though ABC, as this post says, fact-checked Trump on this and said there were no police reports. Springfield city officials and police officials have said there were no police reports. There is a police report of animals being eaten in Springfield. Let's listen to this.
I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today, and I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand. They got away. I couldn't make out the first 3 of the license plate, but I got the numbers. The last numbers was 9898, and it was a gray Toyota Tacoma they took off on. There was about 4 of them. There was 2 men, 2 women. I couldn't tell the age because I'm in a hurry going to this orientation, so I don't be late.
What direction did they go?
They went up towards the middle of towards downtown.
Okay, and what path are you on?
Right now, hold on just a second. I'm coming to the intersection of. Give me a second here. It says Water and Warder Street.
Water and Warder. Is that the area you saw them?
Yes. It was about 2 minutes back behind me. I was trying to get my phone out and trying to make it to this orientation on time. I'm time crunching here. And I saw that. I'm like, yeah, this has got to be reported.
So how many geese did they have?
They each had 1. Now, the Toyota Tacoma did look like a newer model.
And what's your name, sir?
My name is...
No police reports, huh? That's a police report. This one comes from Gab. Frontlines USA team visited Springfield, Ohio today. Everyone they spoke to has heard stories of people's pets being eaten as well as ducks and geese disappearing. Residents describe it as a tinderbox and a time bomb ready to go off. Here's some video for you.
You're gonna be next, boy. I ain't eating nothing off of a barbecue pit around here. Ducks are disappearing.
So the migrants are eating geese, you think? Have you heard of pets being abducted?
Yep. Cats are a delicacy in Haiti.
It's not that they're poor and eating them because they don't have other food. It is a delicacy like someone would eat escargot.
And then I heard that stuff on Facebook and I thought, I better watch my dogs.
Well, that wasn't verified. Springfield, Ohio right now is a tinderbox. They're killing cats. They're eating geese. They're crashing cars. One of these is going to light and it's going to be bad.
Part of that is because in the state of Ohio, you cannot use lethal force to protect property, and pets are considered property.
Are you carrying a firearm now to keep yourself safe? How has that changed?
Yes, I did.
I got a couple guns and I'm not afraid to use them. I was raised at the hills.
Our town is a bomb, especially with the influx of immigrants or whatever you want to say, people. It's a time bomb ready to go off.
Yeah. So what we need to do here is take all of these rumors, gossip, hearsay, because that's what a lot of that is. None of those people have come out and said, I've seen this personally, right? They're hearing it from a neighbor who heard it from a friend, who heard it from a cousin, who heard it from mother-in-law, whatever it is. We need actual witnesses, eyewitness, eyeball witnesses to come out and say, yeah, I'm seeing this. Now, we did see one video where there's a guy making a police report talking about two men, two women, two Haitians who had a goose each from one of the local parks. But obviously, the left-wing corporate media and government officials from that city, for whatever reason, are trying to keep this quiet. Why? Because it is the victimhood hierarchy scale. Not sure if you've heard of this before, but anybody who is black, Matt Walsh actually did a great video on this. You guys should look that up on whatever social media platform. There's a hierarchy of victimhood. There's white at the very bottom, and then there's Asian, and then there's Native Americans, and then blah, 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 blah. And black is right at the very top. So maybe it's because they're from Haiti and because they are black that you cannot. And you know what? Just saying that publicly, out loud, right now, makes me feel racist inside, but I'm saying it anyway. Because that's what the Marxists are trying to accomplish here. They're trying to make it so that we feel anything we say is racist, when we can see it for ourselves. It's happening right in front of us. Why would the media be suppressing stories like this? At the very least, they should be on the street investigating what the hell is going on in Springfield. But instead, they deny it, city officials deny it, and police deny there's any reports, even though we heard audio from one just now. Was Trump right to bring it up in the debate last night? No, he wasn't. Because it's too new and it's too controversial. In 3 weeks' time, it'll be different, maybe. In 6 weeks' time, we'll probably be hearing that dog meat's actually good for you. In so many ways. But for now, they're keeping it quiet, like it's not happening. And it's like going way upstream, man. So Trump should never, never have brought that up last night when there were so many other documented things, even by the left-wing corporate media, that he could have brought up. I know what some of you guys might be saying, but I'm talking strictly from a logical standpoint. We're talking about the fate of the entire world going forward. Right? The U.S. president is the most powerful person on the planet. Well, that's what we think anyway. But bottom line is, by him not preparing for that debate last night and throwing all of that out there, it could be the difference between a win and a loss. So not the smartest strategy, in my opinion. However, Was Kamala cheating? Hey, CBS News says, no, there's false claims that the earrings were actually clip-on audio headphones disguised as pearl earrings. They're from Tiffany. And so immediately people say, oh, it's debunked. You're a liar. See, look what CBS says. Let's listen to this lady. This lady actually is hilarious. Now, what I want you guys to understand in this video, terrible, terrible, terrible language. Okay, just to prepare you for it. But this lady just goes off for 2 minutes on Kamala and how the whole thing was rigged last night.
The presidential debate last night was the biggest load of bullshit that I have seen in a very, very, very long time. I think it's pretty damn obvious why Kamala Harris insisted upon having the debate on ABC. Because those motherfuckers were biased as fuck. And it wasn't enough for her to have the debate on a biased news channel with the assistance of 2 fucking moderators. This unscrupulous heifer still had to find a fucking way to cheat. Look at her earring. Look at that shit. Does this shit look familiar? Yeah, it's an audio earring. Here's another clip of it. So not only was it 3 against 1 on a biased channel, but she also had to have the assistance of an earpiece. So someone was telling her what the fuck to say. And for the record, the migrants, the Haitian migrants, are in fact eating the animals. So let's not pretend that Trump is saying some crazy ass shit. And for a party that claims to be so fucking woke, the media is manipulating your ass and you're fucking falling for it. When the migrants land on your front doorstep, don't complain. When groceries and rent get so high that you can't afford to shelter or feed your family, don't complain. Don't say shit. This is what you fucking wanted. You want to fight for a woman's right to choose, but you can't even fucking define what the fuck a woman is. At this point, everybody is pretty decided. I don't think there's many undecided voters out there. So let's take this motherfucking thing to the goddamn polls. Because I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of pissed off Kamala supporters come November.
Oh, wow. I mean, she brings up some great points, and she's also very, very funny. I thought. On the extension tonight, you guys, I have this video to play for you. It's called The Truth About COVID-19 Shots. And it's really eye-opening. Very, very, very compelling. And I invite you to join us as All Access members after 9 o'clock Central on shadowdavis.com to see that. Here's a guy who calls himself Mr. Patriarchy. I like this guy. And thank you, Sean, for sending me this video earlier. Here's Mr. Patriarchy talking about Kamala's earrings. Listen.
Did you find yourself wondering if that special earring was a family heirloom, or was it perhaps a speaker where someone could speak to the speaker during her debate last night? I've done a little more research, and while the internet may be saying that it's a conspiracy to think that, the manufacturer doesn't seem to think it's a conspiracy. Isn't that great? You can get your own. And if the manufacturer doesn't think it's a conspiracy, how long has she been using this? I just want to take a look with you guys, because I've gone back over about a year's worth of speeches, campaign events, interviews. She really likes those earrings. And then at the end of this video, we're going to read a review that will explain why some of the debate rules that have been in place, and why the interview with Waltz and Harris was done pre-taped, and why there are some very interesting dynamics to how she speaks at live events with those earrings in place. Let's put 2 and 2 together, but first let's just look at the history of these amazing earrings. Notice that when we Google this right away, the first things you start to notice are conspiracy theory. No, conspiracy theory. More conspiracy theory. Why it's a conspiracy theory? It almost seems to me that there's a conspiracy theory about the conspiracy. Yes, it doesn't seem to end. But as we go, let's go right here to the manufacturer's website. And what do they offer? Oh, look at that. From the 2024 presidential election, you can get your own ones that were used in the 20. So the manufacturer themselves is offering what was used in the 2024 presidential election special edition. But you're right. It's just a conspiracy. Let's go through several interviews.
All right. I'm going to leave it there, you guys. We're going to switch over to the extension on shadowdavis.com in just about 2 minutes. We're going to keep that video going when we get to the extension. For those of you who are not and will not become all access members at shadowdavis.com, I dropped a link into the comments on Facebook and on YouTube and on, what's this one? Twitch. So you can go ahead and watch the video for yourself at your own pace. That's it for social tonight, you guys. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. I'll catch you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central for another Shadow at Night live stream. And for you all access members, the extension starts in 2 minutes. I will see you in just a second. I need to